Welcome everyone to 7 Minutes or Less, talking about the shows you love and want to get into. Today we will be talking about The Umbrella Academy Season 1. So around the time this show came out, I didn't really have much interest in seeing this, though people were talking about it, considering it was a lot of fun, really good, but that's all I pretty much heard when it came to reviews. Being a TV show lover like myself, I love hearing things like this without much promise towards anything else. People just say it's good, go see it, and I'm alright with that. It leaves enough for you to come your own opinion about it, whatever it is that is recommended to you. This being a review, I can tell you there is a lot to consider for this show. Consider the fact that it sounds a lot like what you have possibly seen already, or maybe this show is the first thing you've picked up in a long while. Basically, you can start picking it apart saying it's a fundamental structure of a run-of-the-mill story of a bunch of kids all grown up dealing with the wake of their disgruntled, eccentric billionaire surrogate father's death, who taught them the ways to use their powers. In turn, his death brings them together to solve one big mystery with an estranged family member, number 5, coming back to alert the entire family of an apocalypse coming. But not right away. The whole deal with this show is that while these characters were legal brothers and sisters, everyone has their own motive, with no Avengers theme uniting everyone back together again by the end. No one works together because they don't realize they have to until the last second. Even by then, more motives show up, bringing everyone to follow themselves rather than each other. This is a very heavy character-driven show. One I should be crawling over and rushing to my computer each day to watch more of. But in the end, I hate to say this, I just didn't care as much as I thought I would. To the show's credit, it's well acted, constructed even better, and the character depth is just enough to make you latch onto all 7 people in your own way. But sadly for me, no one really stood out to me as much as I just enjoyed them all equally. That's not a takeaway that diminishes the show by any means. It's mostly at a point where these shows these days come out claiming to be the next big thing. They come across as funny, exciting, a new take on the genre that we all know and love, or believe is absolutely tired and exhausted of any more potential, ready to be for one last hurrah. What we end up getting is set up for character situations, fights, arguments, and everything else, all to be executed by the finale. Maybe the episode before it. Whether it be 10 episodes or 13, sometimes even 23. But I reached to a point where I watch these shows not excited for much. Just the desire to see the story unfold. And sometimes it takes forever. The story takes forever to unfold while characters prevent other characters from doing that one thing they shouldn't be doing, but they're probably the best at it. Taking all of 5 minutes before the action really starts, and the action only lasts for like 30 seconds to a minute. And I'm tired of these shows being so slow with the argument of they're setting things up. It's just, oh God, it sounds like I'm shitting all over this, and I know it sounds bad, but in truth, I was just unimpressed with this show. It was good, don't get me wrong, and I think it was impressive on some scales, but in the end, I just didn't care as much as everyone else. Klaus was likable and held probably the most interesting power as he can communicate with the dead, but his drug-induced, self-absorbed escapades became a bit much after a point. Vanya was too mopey and depressed, and she was suppressed by her father, so it just made it harder for me to get behind her character right away because she was alienated from the rest of the group. Luther, while interesting at first as he's an extremely big individual who has super strength, seemed to lack the leadership needed when everyone was together any more than apart. It was hard to watch this gargantuan man get his ass kicked so many times, and he never used his strength to really pummel someone to the ground. Diego was more likable than the rest, but while that may be a good factor, he was always stopped by someone from propelling things forward, seeing how he was the only one actually trying to figure mysteries out. That and causing a few. Oh, and his powers are similar to Bullseye, though he can curve the trajectory to anything that he throws. Fascinating stuff, but his character prevented half the time. Allison, while she has the power to manipulate people by saying the phrase, "I heard a rumor," she doesn't use it much and holds the guilt of misusing it on people she shouldn't have. She has more logic and brains than anyone else, but sadly that, to me, wasn't explored nearly enough for me to care, as she had family matters she was more concerned about and the relationship with Luther that she had. But the one standout in all of this was number 5, which that's actually his name, and 6, otherwise known as Ben. These two held more promise and progressive characters because they were the only two trying to get something going or started, getting people to move rather than stay. 5 can teleport from place to place and time travel as well, which is a very big plot point. Number 5 is the kind of character that says, hey, the world's ending, but he keeps it to himself, seeing if he can figure things out first. He's not without the same tendencies that make him unlikable either. He's brash, unkind, forward to a degree that could get his ass kicked, and a lot of his family members don't care for him all the time. Ben, however, is the unspoken member of the Academy, as he is, well, some details I'll leave out for you so you can find out as I did, and he's really there to keep one character in check throughout the show. To me, he was the coolest character on the show. With all these characters and more that I have yet to mention, it feels like these are all unlikable characters trying to be likable under the circumstances, and it just doesn't quite work out. All this negativity aside, I would have to say there are some things I did enjoy in this show. All the powers, when used, were fascinating. The 2 assassins that come in with one job to do really held my attention, along with a few other elements that I was surprised on seeing, but I won't give that away on here. In the end, everyone, I just wasn't impressed with this show as much as I wanted it to be. It was silly in some points, tried in others, was exciting very rarely, and the pacing was almost nearly dull. On the contrary, this show was well made, CGI was well rendered, and there were some deserved and earned moments of emotion that work for what this show is. I just wish there was more, considering the message in this show is about emotions and what you do with them to render your power. I'm gonna give The Umbrella Academy Season 1 a C+. I'm pretty sure there are others out there that liked it for the same reasons I didn't quite like. I just wish there was more different ways than what was executed. Alright guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed my review of The Umbrella Academy. If you loved it or liked it, that's great. Let me know down below if you've got a second. If you're new to my channel, check out what I do here. I create all sorts of stuff from TV shows and movie reviews. Turn on those notifications if you are subbed or want to sub so you don't miss anything. Follow me on Twitter for the most recent updates and random thoughts on movies and TV shows. And with that said, I hope you all have a fantastic and wonderful day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.